and welcome to yet another Wellness Wheel Wednesday. Today, I'm actually really grateful and fortunate that I have with me Lerena Greig. She is from Parents Empowering Parents, as well as she has her own consulting firm, LeeDawn Consulting. And Lerena is what PEP is, Parents Empowering Parents, is it helps families with teenagers and adult children who are suffering with an addiction crisis. But it's not so much for the teenager or the child. It's actually resources and facilities for the family suffering alongside the teenager with this crisis, which I think is super impactful. The reason for that is it's high emotions, very high emotions, dealing with it is a crisis. I'm just going to use the word again because that's simply what it is. So high emotions of fear, this constant worry, anxiety, most likely shames and guilt, all rolled into that, and it probably never leaves you as the minutes and minutes of the day roll on. So high emotions trip a stress response. It's the same stress response that would get tripped if you were in a motor vehicle accident or fell down the stairs. High emotions have the same ability to do that. So from a chiropractic perspective, when the stress response gets tripped, there's a secondary adaptation mechanism that happens in order to restore that imbalance that occurred in the nervous system with that stress response. So you may, in addition to all these high emotions, start to realize that my back is really hurting. I'm getting this constant headache. There's this sharp pain in between my shoulder blades. It's horribly, uncomfortably, physically, in addition to the discomfort mentally and emotionally. So my job is to help take care of that tension on the inside and begin to restore that balance so you have an opportunity to begin to heal physically. But Lerena here is helping us to understand how the Parents Empowering Parents is going to help parents and siblings and caregivers affected by this tragedy deal with some of those emotions. So Lerena, tell me how does PEP actually work?
Well, PEP was founded over 14 years ago, actually locally in Strathcona County. Yeah. So for 14 years, we've been helping families discover wellness in the midst, well-being in the midst of this chaos. You know, we talk about it being chaotic and crisis, right? For years. So, and we have professionally facilitated, free, innovative programs that are family-centered. So to help them discover that they need to stay healthy and that their well-being is important as a family unit, separate from the child or the adult or the family, the loved member, the loved family member who is struggling with addiction, right?
So that sounds so amazing, because that is true. I believe it's probably often neglected that the person with the addiction, there's this program available and that program, but what are the programs available for the poor parents who are undergoing such distress? So tell me a little bit more about these programs, the innovative programs. If I were a parent and I'm with an addicted teen, what does that program look like?
Okay, thank you. Well, you know what? I think I'm going to start with our support line, just because we have limited resources as a nonprofit. We can only offer our programs once a week. So we have a support line that's available to families days, evenings, and weekends that is also professionally managed. So all of our programs are professionally facilitated. So let's start with the parent meetings. We meet every Tuesday night, every week, but at alternate locations. So we meet, one of our locations is at Sherwood Park Community Center. The other one is in Millwoods in South Edmonton. They're 2-hour meetings. The first part of the meeting, we call it our check-in. So it's introduce yourself, tell us what your crisis is today, how can we help you today, right? recognizing that we have limited time to do that, because our meetings do average usually 30 to 35 people.
Yeah.
Right?
Ooh, yeah.
So you've got a lot of people to try and get around the circle, do the check-in. Right? Yeah. And the second portion of our program is always some form of education component.
Right.
So we teach about codependency or boundaries or self-care, or, we talk about stress.
Yeah.
And how to manage your stress, right? Yeah. We talk about journaling, really anything that can, motivational meditation, right? Anything that can actually bring them to a place where they can even just breathe again. Yeah. We're talking about, parents want to do everything and anything to keep their child safe, right? From harm,
in
right?
The DNA.
And although addiction is can be considered a mental health issue, it really is detrimental to all parts of that child's well-being, right? So, and we also introduce them to, so we also invite other people to come to our meetings, agencies and services, right? Yeah. And we connect them to other resources. We really are a kind of a family-centered wraparound service, right? So through our relationships, we connect them with things like a respected chiropractor like yourself, right? Yeah. And the services that you offer. Right. Recognizing that the strength of what we do is more the fact that they're in a safe, non-judgmental environment with others. They're not alone.
I think that's really important to emphasize, is that I'm imagining that if this crisis is happening within your family unit, it feels very alone. And when we have these high emotions and we feel that it's only happening to us, and you don't know what to do with these emotions that are so high, it's difficult to process them in one sitting. So many people don't know. It's been my experience that they don't know what to do with all this shame, all this guilt, all this fear, so they stuff it. So it sounds like this place is the support one needs, that it's not an isolated event. This story is relatable. Everyone has a relatable issue, and I think that allows the emotion to come out.
Right.
And it's out here now, not in here, which is really important, because if it's in here, it's going to cause not just back pain, but potentially put you on an accelerated path of things that you don't want in your future.
Right, exactly. And it's amazing. We watch, I watch, it's just such a joyful experience to be able to watch a new parent or parents, husband and wife, or whatever that caregiving situation looks like, come to a meeting for the first time, and really you can see the pain, just the heaviness in their body. You can see it on their face, you can see it in their demeanor, you can hear it in their voices, right? To watch that, and then for them to continue to come. And it only takes maybe 2 or 3 meetings and being supported in the midst, where, you start to see a smile break through, and you start to see the strain be erased a bit, and recognize that they're getting help. Right? That they're getting help through what we offer, right?
That sounds, just to kind of round up this interview, I'm just really hoping you have like a really great success story, like a family that was dealing with unbelievable chaos, and look, if everyone is doing much better. Is there a story like that?
We have numerous stories like that.
Yay!
We actually even have we have peer-to-peer support, and we have a mentorship program as part of what we offer. And so we have parent mentors that if new parents request it, that we can line up with them, that can provide hopeful stories, right? Like my kid was, on heroin or was in a full-blown addiction for many years. We got help, or he sought help. He's now in recovery. He's working. He's productive. He's turned his life around, right? I mean, we have lots of those stories. We have parents on our board of directors that can give stories of hope, right? We have a restorative justice component part of our program, where people who have been charged with trafficking drug come to our family meetings.
Yeah.
And their stories of recovery provide hope for our families.
Oh, that's
right?
So
it really is. I mean, really, that's what PEP does. I think that if you said, what does PEP equal? I would say it equals hope for families. Yeah.
What a great, what a great facility, what a great program as a resource for that. To start here and to end here. What better way?
And we have to recognize addiction can be a lifetime issue, right?
Yeah.
But we have watched families stay strong and healthy in the midst of that scenario, right? And that's really what we're all about.
Yeah. It is the unit, and that's got to stay something strong in order for people to come back to.
Well, they just did a report called Life in Recovery, the first report done on recovery in Canada. And they talked about the strength of the family unit and how important a healthy family unit for someone seeking recovery to go back to is to their recovery. So really that's what PEP is about. Is helping that family stay healthy and supportive.
And get strong. It sounds like a no-brainer.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, what a wonderful resource. So if you yourself, the listener, is aware of a situation either in yourself personally or if, friends or family who are suffering with this, please direct them to Lerena here at the Parents Empowering Parents. And if you have some comments, you can certainly write them down, and we'd be happy to answer them, or we can direct you in the direction that you need.
Yes.
Okay.
And can I say the support line, because it is something that's accessible to them. So the support line number is 780-293-0737. Again, professionally managed, and someone will be there to take your call.
Super. That sounds like a wonderful resource. I hope you guys get oodles of funding so that this can be like a...
Thank you, Dr. Vera. And again, we also, because I know you on a personal level and a professional level, I also would like to recommend Dr. Vera and her services, please, to our families. Again, it's just another resource for you. It really is about the total health picture for you. So thank you.
At least it'll help with one element, a better sleep or less pain, and then it just adds to the strength. Thank you.
Yes,
that's very sweet.
Thank you.
Okay, well, you know what? Next week we do not have a Wellness Wheel Wednesday interview, but I will be here doing a Wellness Wheel episode with Trina. We'll be discussing what cellular inflammation is and a test that you can use called Silent Inflammation Profile to measure the level of inflammation. So we'll be talking a little bit more in depth about that. Okay, so stay tuned next week and have a great afternoon. Bye.
Bye.